EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for February 21st, 2022. It is Monday, start of the new work week, and that means today's video forecast is sponsored by Kinsley's Family Market in Broadheadsville, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Kinsley's is the world's largest ShopRite, and the ShopRite logo means they're all about food, they're all about savings, and they're all about you. They handle 16 local wineries, have a great beer selection, and their own in-house smoked meats department, pharmacy, and the largest shop-from-home department in the entire area. They also have deliveries 7 days a week of the freshest produce, seafood, and meats. They are Kinsley's ShopRite, located at 107 Kinsley's Drive in Broadheadsville, Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Proud sponsors of the Monday forecast video. So, today we're going to turn on the jets a little bit, get the warmer temperatures back into the region, milder temperatures anyway. We'll get back into the 50s across the region. As you can see, 52 to 58 above me with mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a fabulous day today with very little wind too. So it's a good day if you're on a lunch break to want to take a walk. Just grab a light jacket and you should be fine. Or maybe even leave it behind. It's going to be pretty warm today, comparatively speaking, to what we saw on the weekend. And that's just going to continue to increase over the next couple of days. We're expecting 50 to 62 tomorrow, but we are going to have rain to deal with. And then I think the peak heating day, if you will, of this week is going to occur on Wednesday until a cold front moves through. So we'll start off with the first system that's coming in. Again, mostly sunny today while clouds increase overnight tonight. And then we have these periods of rain that are going to move in during the day on Tuesday. It should be generally afternoon and in at least part of the evening. And then you're going to have the cold front move through early Wednesday morning. So in our southern and southeastern areas especially, you'll have some showers to contend with very early on. And then clouds will give way to sun later in the day. But you're going to make a run at close to 70 degrees in our southeastern areas here on Wednesday. It's going to be that warm. Even places in between along I-78 here, about 64 is what we're forecasting for highs in Harrisburg and Allentown here on Wednesday. So here's the NAM high-res future simulator radar, and I'm going to start this off on Thursday morning. Again, you can see the timestamp in the upper right-hand corner here, which gives the exact time. You don't have to subtract any time for this. This is actually 8 a.m. And moving this forward, as you can see, you might get into some showers already by late morning or around noon in our southwestern areas or parts of central Pennsylvania. That will work its way further eastward after that point and during the course of the afternoon. This is not going to be tremendously heavy. It'll be heaviest further north, but it does look like you're going to get a soaker out of it. Nothing flood advisory type stuff I don't expect from this particular event. And if you do have something like that, it's because you're combining with some ice melt or maybe some ice jams up here in the far northern areas. That's it. Okay, so it is going to be warm and no precipitation other than rain for this entire event. And then here's where we get to the overnight. You do get a little bit of a break, but then the cold front's going to move through. Again, it's mainly our southern areas that are getting into it at that point on early on Wednesday morning. This is looking at 7 a.m. It's already down here across, northern Maryland and also parts of, maybe Philadelphia over to parts of central and southern New Jersey. And it's going to continue off to the south and east at that point. Maybe a leftover shower in a few spots in the interior. But other than that, you're going to have clouds give way to sun here in the afternoon on Wednesday. And it's going to be warm because the cold air push behind this is going to be delayed and not come in until overnight on Wednesday night. So we're going to have highs in the 60s and then lows getting down into the 20s in some areas, upper 20s, but you still get 20s nevertheless here on Wednesday. Now, in addition to this, here's looking at what we're getting for rain. Again, generally ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch for most areas. There could be some higher elevations that get closer to an inch out of this, but it'll be over the northern areas where that would occur. But elsewhere is generally about a ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch or so of rain. So that's not a tremendous amount of rain. But the other part of this is the wind, not as bad as the previous events that we've had over the past several days prior to that occurred all the way up through Saturday. Yesterday was not too bad of a day, and today is not going to be a bad day at all. We're going to have winds today are going to be out of the southwest at 3 to 6 miles per hour, so it's not going to be that big of a deal today. So here's Tuesday. We're going to have a little bit of a breeze pickup here during the afternoon on Tuesday. Starts off calm in the morning. So you get some 15 to 25 gusts here during the, especially mid to late afternoon on Tuesday. But then we get in the evening, you have a period here where you have the winds that are still 15 to 25 miles per hour, but you're going to have some peak gusts that are 30 to 35, maybe even 40 in the higher elevations. And it's generally going to be between 6 p.m. and midnight on Thursday for your peak period, if you will, but certainly not as windy as what we've seen over the past 2 prior events. And then this after you get past midnight, the winds will diminish once again after this point. So not a real big deal with the wind either. Rain, a decent amount of rain, soaker, but it's not going to be overwhelming, and the wind doesn't look like it's going to be overwhelming either. So not a tremendous amount of power outages associated with this, at least not what we're expecting right now. Going forward from this, we have the late week system to talk about now. This is being modeled differently, but they're kind of coming slower, or coming into closer alignment with time. Okay, the GFS is still the most wintry of all the models. This is the European model I'm showing you here. As you get into Thursday, you're generally cloudy throughout the day. No precipitation expected during the day, or very little. It's when you get into overnight, Thursday night, into Friday morning, you have this area of icing that's going to be taking place, we think, mainly northwest of I-95. I think this is going to be these areas up here that get into this. Maybe some sleet to start, then going over to freezing rain. I don't see this being a big snow deal at all. Not impossible to sort of snow briefly in those far northern areas. Right there, you get a little bit across the northern Poconos, northeast PA, north central PA, just briefly. Okay, maybe coating to 1 inch type stuff or something like that. And then it goes over to sleet and then freezing rain. And this freezing rain continues into Friday morning, and this continues in areas along and north of I-78 as freezing rain early Friday morning. So there could be some issues there. But I'm starting to think this is going to be more of an elevated freezing rain issue, not so much the surface, because we're talking about temperatures on Wednesday. They're going to be they're going to be quite warm. You're going to have temperatures in the mid 60s, some areas higher than that. And then you're going to bring all this in here. I know you're going to have temperatures only in the mid 30s or so on Thursday for highs, mid upper 30s. But overnight, you're going to get down to the upper 20s to near 30 in these interior locations. So you're not going to have a tremendous amount of time to cool off the paved surfaces that were exposed to radiational heating and things like that. This time of year, it's a little more difficult to get icing events at the surface level. So elevated surfaces, what's that? That's basically your trees, your power lines, cars, anything above the ground. The grass would be included in that too because it doesn't retain heat. But things like sidewalks and driveways and roadways would have a harder time, we think, unless you get up into the Poconos and the higher elevations up here. So we'll keep an eye on this closely, but this looks like mostly an icing event. And then even there, it may end as just plain rain before this comes to an end later on Friday. So in our central areas, like along I-78 in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, we have this going over to rain during the day here on Friday. In areas further south, you'll have that changeover. You have any kind of changeover just the areas just northwest of I-95 and the immediate suburbs of Philadelphia. You might have a brief bit of freezing rain overnight that we think is going to change to rain overnight. Is going to happen a little bit quicker there. And then as you get into areas farther north, closer to the I-78 corridor, that could take a little bit longer. GFS is the new one that came in this evening. It has trended a little bit warmer from its previous runs, but it does show a little bit more of an icing event, and not just northwest of I-95. So this is continuing a little bit further south than that. I think it's still too aggressive with that, but we'll see. But at least it's trending more toward very little snow, then going over to sleet, then freezing rain. So by the time we get to Friday morning, those areas still north of 78 or along and north of 78 in Pennsylvania and New Jersey are getting the icing still. And then it comes to an end, perhaps ending as a little bit of rain before it does so later on Friday afternoon. So that's that system, okay? Something we're going to be revisiting throughout the week because we're going to certainly have changes throughout the week as far as positioning, how much ice and snow we get out of this. Again, don't expect a lot of snow. I think it's going to be the icing that's going to be the worst part of this, and we'll kind of break down where it's going to get the worst as we get a little bit closer to that. Today's only Monday. We're talking about a system that's coming in overnight, Thursday night into at least Friday morning with the icing. So we have some time to look at it, certainly. Okay. And then after this system, we do dry out for the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, looking at colder temperatures with temperatures back in the 30s, below average both days. And it looks like we're going to be, both Saturday and Sunday are going to be dry. Watching the system off to our south here that the European model is trying to hint might come in here, Sunday night or Monday, but the European or the GFS is keeping this farther to the south. So another system on its heels that we'll have to watch as well, and it's going to be a gradient overrunning system just like this first one is. So we'll see. We'll see. A lot to talk about in this video. And we'll continue to update this throughout the week once we get rid of the Tuesday system. That's out of the way. This will be a little bit easier. We can focus a little bit more on what's going to happen on Thursday night and Friday. I'm EPA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for February 21st, 2022. Have a great Monday.